Dawn broke cold and clear over the kingdom of Eldoria. The first light of day cast long shadows over the ancient stone walls, painting a serene picture of tranquility. A day like any other, or so it seemed. The townsfolk began their daily routines, unaware of the dark cloud that loomed over their kingdom. Yet, within the high walls of the royal palace, a discovery was about to unravel the kingdom's peace. The guards, vigilant as ever, sensed an unusual stillness in the air. The king, strong and vibrant only the night before, was found lifeless in his chambers. His sudden demise was as shocking as it was mysterious. His face, normally flushed with good health and cheer, was now pale and still. The once lively eyes were closed forever, leaving a haunting silence in the room. His hand, which had so often wielded the royal sceptre with grace, lay limp, a single drop of crimson staining the silken sheets beneath. The sight was both tragic and foreboding. The king, the very heart of Eldoria, was no more. His empty throne stood as a stark reminder of the void left behind. Fear, sharp and cold as winter's ice, gripped the hearts of all who witnessed the scene. The news spread like wildfire, leaving the kingdom in a state of shock and disbelief. The king, their leader, their protector, had been taken from them. The palace staff, loyal and devoted, mourned deeply, their sorrow echoing through the grand halls. What evil had befallen their beloved king? Whispers of foul play and dark magic began to circulate, adding to the growing unease. And what would become of their kingdom now? The future of Eldoria hung in the balance, shrouded in uncertainty and fear. The chamber, once filled with the scent of sandalwood and rosemary, now carried the metallic tang of blood and something else, something alien and sinister. Near the king's hand, a silver chalice lay overturned, its contents spilled across the floor. The chalice itself, a masterpiece of craftsmanship, was a gift from the king's most trusted advisor, Lord Alaric. It was adorned with intricate carvings of the royal griffin, its eyes gleaming with rubies the colour of blood. But now the gleaming silver appeared tarnished, dulled by an unseen evil. The king's physician, his face etched with worry, carefully examined the chalice and the spilled liquid. His face, already pale, turned a shade whiter. "Poison," he whispered, his voice hoarse with dread. "A rare and deadly poison. The king was murdered." The news of the king's assassination spread through the palace like wildfire. The once bustling corridors of the grand castle fell into a hushed silence, only to be broken by the murmurs of disbelief and fear. Whispers of betrayal echoed through the halls, each word a dagger to the heart of the kingdom. The courtiers, once loyal and steadfast, now eyed each other with suspicion, each reverberation amplifying the fear and suspicion that had gripped the kingdom. The air was thick with tension, and every shadow seemed to hide a potential traitor. Lord Alaric, his face a mask of grief, took immediate control, his voice firm as he directed the investigation. His commands were clear, his demeanour unyielding, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of something more. But behind the facade of sorrow, a seed of doubt was sown. Whispers began to circulate, questioning his true intentions and the depth of his loyalty. Alaric, despite his protestations of innocence, had been the one to gift the king the poisoned chalice, the very act that led to the king's untimely demise. Furthermore, whispers of his ambition and greed had circulated for years. Many had long suspected that his loyalty was but a veneer, hiding a heart full of ambition. Could he have been the one to orchestrate the king's demise? The question lingered in the air, heavy and foreboding. The king's loyal guard captain, Sir Tristan, found himself wrestling with conflicting emotions. His heart ached with the loss of his liege, but his duty demanded clarity and justice. He had served the king for decades, his loyalty unquestionable. Every fibre of his being was dedicated to the crown, and now that very loyalty was being tested. Now he was tasked with uncovering the truth, even if it meant suspecting those closest to the throne. The weight of his duty pressed heavily upon him as he navigated the treacherous waters of court intrigue and betrayal. As Sir Tristan delved deeper into the investigation, a trail of deceit began to unravel. What started as a simple inquiry into missing funds soon revealed a web of corruption and betrayal that reached the highest echelons of the kingdom. Records of the king's finances revealed a series of large withdrawals, all traced back to accounts controlled by Lord Alaric. These transactions were cleverly disguised, hidden among legitimate expenses, making them difficult to detect at first glance. The gold, it seemed, had been siphoned away over months, carefully concealed from the king's watchful eye. Each coin was meticulously accounted for, yet the true destination of the wealth remained shrouded in mystery. Further investigation uncovered a series of secret meetings between Lord Alaric and a shadowy figure from a neighbouring kingdom known for its ruthless mercenaries and clandestine dealings. These meetings were held in the dead of night, away from prying eyes, and always in locations chosen for their secrecy. The evidence, though circumstantial, pointed towards a sinister plot orchestrated by the very man who proclaimed his innocence. Lord Alaric's involvement in the conspiracy became increasingly apparent as more pieces of the puzzle were uncovered. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, forming a picture of betrayal and cold-blooded ambition. Each new discovery added another layer to the intricate tapestry of deceit that Lord Alaric had woven. Lord Alaric, driven by greed and lust for power, had betrayed his king, poisoning him to seize control of the throne and the kingdom's riches. His actions were not just a betrayal of trust, but a calculated move to usurp the throne and secure his own position of power. The news of Lord Alaric's treachery spread through the kingdom like a plague, leaving behind a trail of shock and despair. The people who had revered their king felt lost and betrayed. Fear and uncertainty replaced the peace that had reigned for generations. The king's demise had created a void, a dangerous vacuum of power that threatened to tear the kingdom apart. Rumors of uprisings and rebellions began to surface, fueled by the flames of anger and distrust. The very fabric of Eldoria was unraveling, thread by thread. The once bustling markets fell silent, the vibrant streets now patrolled by anxious guards. The laughter of children, once a familiar melody in Eldoria, was replaced by hushed whispers and fearful glances. The king's sudden death and the accusations against Lord Alaric cast a long shadow of doubt over the entire court. No one could be trusted. Every smiling face, every gesture of condolence seemed tainted with suspicion. Loyalties were tested, friendships strained, and alliances shattered. The once united court was now a viper's nest of suspicion and fear, each member eyeing the other with distrust. The Queen, heartbroken and reeling from the loss of her husband, found herself surrounded by enemies, real and imagined. She retreated into seclusion, her grief a shield against the storm of betrayal and deceit that raged around her. Sir Tristan, burdened by the weight of his duty and fueled by a burning desire for justice, vowed to expose the truth and bring the perpetrators to justice. His investigation led him down a treacherous path, uncovering secrets that some would kill to protect. He interrogated courtiers, studied financial records, and even ventured into the seedy underbelly of the city, following the trail of gold and deceit. Each clue, each whisper, brought him closer to the heart of the conspiracy. His quest for justice was fraught with danger. Assassins lurked in the shadows, their blades sharpened and ready to silence him. But Sir Tristan, driven by his unwavering loyalty to the fallen king, refused to be deterred. The weight of evidence against Lord Alaric became insurmountable. Confronted with undeniable proof of his betrayal, he confessed to his crimes. His ambition, his greed had driven him to the ultimate act of treachery. He was stripped of his titles, his wealth seized, and his life forfeit. But even as the executioner's axe fell, a chilling truth remained. The true cost of his betrayal extended far beyond his own demise. The kingdom of Eldoria, once a beacon of prosperity and peace, was left teetering on the brink of chaos. The king was dead, the people were divided, and the shadow of betrayal loomed large. The shocking truth behind the king's demise became a dark stain on the tapestry of Eldoria's history. It served as a constant reminder of the fragility of trust, the seductive power of greed, and the devastating consequences of betrayal. The king's death ushered in an era of uncertainty and change. The new ruler, faced with the daunting task of rebuilding trust and restoring order, had a long and arduous journey ahead. The scars of betrayal ran deep, and healing the wounds of the past would be a long and arduous process. The tale of the poisoned chalice became a cautionary tale, whispered from generation to generation, a stark reminder that even in the grandest of palaces, treachery and deceit can lurk in the shadows.